How's it going, everyone? So, it's early morning time here for me when I'm recording this, and I had some work to get done before I got busy packaging all the orders for shop updates, and I thought, I could make a video. I could show you how to do this. Because that's my goal, at the end of all this is like, for those of you who know me through Instagram and like buy my offerings, like my end goal is for you to not need me. That you can make this stuff on your own if you choose to. So today I'm going to make a pomade. And a pomade is just where we use animal fat to catch the scent of flowers. Particularly those that you can't catch the scent with like alcohol or making a hydrosol. And this is super easy. So the animal fat you're going to want to use is tallow. I'm using deer tallow, but you can go online and buy, high-grade cattle tallow, from like grass-fed. And tallow is just the fat of a red meat animal, and we are red meat animals. You could make tallow from your own fat if you felt so inclined. Rendered down into a stable state, And so what I do is I put my tallow in a baking pan and then I melt it down in the oven and then let it cool so you have this nice even flat surface. I mean, it's, my oven and my kitchen floor is a little crooked, so it's not perfectly even, but you get the point. You would just want a flat surface for two reasons. It gives you more scent absorption, and it's easier to get this off of that when the time comes. And so basically, what you would do with a pomade is you could turn it into an enfleurage, which is like a fancy French perfume, where you use the fat to catch the scent of, like, these are all lilacs right here that we plucked off of lilacs, and then you use alcohol to extract the scent from the fat. That's a bit more complicated process, but you can just take this pomade and just rub it on your skin for the scent, like a perfume. And that's traditionally what perfume was before alcohol got involved. But the thing is, you want to use tallow. Like, some places will tell you to use lard, but if you're going to actually be rubbing this on your skin, lard is not made from a red meat animal, and so our body doesn't really recognize it the same way it does other red meat fats. So like when we rub this tallow on our body's like, oh, that's the fat that I'm made of, that's the fat that I need, so it absorbs it really deeply. And that's why lard ends up being more greasier, because your body's like, oh, okay, well, that's just going to hang out on the skin, and we're not going to pull it down in. This is super easy. That probably all sounded crazy complicated. So you melt down your fat in a pan. You let it cool. It doesn't have to be cold, just not warm. You just want room temp. You pick off your flowers that you're going to be using. In this case, I'm using lilacs because 'tis the season, right? And you want to make sure that you get all the green bits for the most part off of there. I mean, a little bit here and there is not going to kill you, but so this is lilac petals removed. You ready for how hard this is? You're going to dump your lilacs into the top of your fat. You're going to spread them out evenly. Should have used a bigger pan. That's okay though. It'll be really saturated with scent. A little piece of green in there I gotta get out. My husband was kind enough to do this for me yesterday. I was crazy busy packaging orders, and I was like, those lilacs, they're getting close. And I'm like, I'm not gonna have time, and so he went out and he got them for me and plucked them for me. But so I'm just kind of patting these down a little bit to kind of get them to stay in place. And then even if you're like a plastic-free home or something, this is going to have to involve plastic unless you want to spend a couple $1,000s on a real enfleurage press, which is like this big machine. So the idea is we're going to force the scent into the fat. And I use saran wrap to do that. So, first layer down. I mean, you could use anything like reusable, but it's just really important that you have this airtight, because those scent molecules are going to want to escape. And so basically you mummify this damn thing with saran wrap. And then, true to my nature, I forgot to bring something in for the video, I just realized. The next thing you do after we get this all wrapped up and airtight, is you have to apply weight to the top of it. You want to like really push these petals into the fat. So I have all these like bricks. They're not quite like red bricks, but they're heavy. They're like those tile stepping stones. But if you had a bigger baking dish and a smaller one that fit inside of it, anything to put on top of it that's going to push these flowers down into the fat. And then what that does is it just forces the scent to settle into the fat. Now, I'm not going to make this a two-part video because I think you're smart enough to understand what I say next. I want you to repeat this process. I want you to stick this in a cold, dark place for about 3, maybe 4 days max. And then I want you to take all the petals off to the best of your ability. I mean, the more you get off of there, the better. And then I want you to put fresh petals back over it and sit it in a cool, dark place for another 3 to 4 days. And I want you to do that for as long as you can. Like if your lilac tree just started blooming and you start this and you do it throughout the lilac's entire season of blooming. And sometimes we'll even like chase up the mountain to where they're like blooming like later in the season. That way we can just keep adding and keep adding. The longer you do it, the stronger the scent will be. And you can get like crazy creative too. If you like, you don't have to use a plant that, like a rose for example, you can catch that scent in alcohol if you wanted to. But you might say, you know what, I want like a lilac rose or a jasmine rose or anything like that scent. So you could do one layer of plants of your blooms picked off to catch its scent, and then you could do a layer of another one, and then you could like switch back and forth like that. So pomades are really, really simple to do. Now as far as inflorages, I'm probably saying that wrong. Just going to put that out there. I do not speak French. Basically what you would do that is you would take this pomade when it's done, you would stick it in a jar, and usually people tell you to pour like crazy high proof of rubbing alcohol over it or something like that. But I have found that I'm not able to water it down enough to cut that alcohol scent or to keep the scent intact. So I kind of like to use just 100 proof vodka, but that gets into like a bit more complication, and then you have to like find yourself a perfume fixative, which is something that makes the scent actually last, and a lot of those are pretty hardcore chemicals. So I think I'll just stick to rubbing some good old deer fat on my skin and enjoying the smell. But what's cool is the scent will last longer because the fat holds it. So I was getting ready to make this and said, well, let's make them a video too, because I'm pretty sure you are smart enough to do this, alright? And you don't need to pay somebody hundreds and hundreds of dollars to teach you how to do this. You might have trial and error, but that's how we learn. That's how anybody learns. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you like these random impromptu, completely unprofessional videos, do subscribe. If you're just finding me, come find me on Instagram at She Is of the Woods. You can probably find the link here in my bio, and you can learn more about me and all kinds of things. So alrighty, I'll see you next time. Bye!